Golf cart adventures continue. Welcome to part 2. Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. And this is part 2 of our Yamaha golf cart transplant, refresh, refurbish, improvement, whatever you want to call it. Kind of a silly little project, but it's one that I talked my friend into quite a while ago. We were talking about it the other day, and we know it's been at least 3 years, maybe 4 years. But anyway, that's how long these golf carts have sat, and now we're trying to get it operational. So in part 1, we cut or removed the engine out of this cart, which was the original gas cart, and attempted to put it into this cart, which was an electric cart. Found out, of course, you know, anyone who looked closely would have seen it. I don't know why we didn't notice it before, that the mounting locations were different. At that point, then I cut the engine mount bar basically out of this old cart, which is terribly rusty underneath here, which is the main reason for this swap, and put it in here. We are currently just sitting on here. It's not connected yet. I'm waiting for some parts, but it's very close to where it needs to be, just sitting here. Everything's been crappily welded in by me, but I'm confident it's going to hold. And my buddy who owns this cart has gone crazy ordering parts. But there's a lot left to do before we get the parts in, and there's going to be a little while. I've already removed the seats. You can see, seat cushions. We're going to get those recovered. And the next thing I need to do is swap over this frame for this seat box. This is the one that came with the electric cart still. We want to keep this plastic. It's in better shape, but we have to swap it because the shift, forward and reverse shift, is completely different. Now I've already removed the frame out of the other one here off camera, and it's a little bit ratty, so we're going to clean this up. I'll give it a wash and then scrub it down, and then we'll put some paint on it. This will be a straightforward enough swap. It's held on with some little plastic clips here on the side and in the front. This one has a little beauty ring on it. Beauty trim piece, I guess. And looks like it's got rivets. So there's only 3 of them remaining out of about 8. So I'll drill those out. The only thing that this one doesn't have that was on the original one is a place to put the choke, but I think it looks like it's actually there. That might actually be where the choke can go. So hopefully that's the same hole. That will be very easy. In the meantime, I have also already swapped over the throttle pedal, which is different between the two. They actually look very similar, but this one has a little cam on it over here for the throttle cable to go. The gas one just had a solid rod that went back to a rheostat back here. Another item that I am working on is cleaning up this wiring harness. I've already started on it. You see I put some nice electrical sleeving, I forget what you call this stuff, split loom, over it to kind of clean it up. And I need to repair this connector. You can see the wires are popping out of here. So those will be the items I work on first. And once I get those done, I have to wait for my buddy to get here so that we can lift this body back off of here. And we need to get this bushing out of this swing arm here. The whole engine swing arm. That was our biggest holdup. Otherwise we would have this engine mounted. Unfortunately that bolt was seized inside of that bushing, and we had to order a new bushing. Sort of slow progress on the cart here, but we're picking away at it. Cleaned up in here, painted the frame in my crappy welds. Engine has been removed from the swing arm, and I cleaned up a few items on there. This hose, I replaced those hoses because those were garbage and held on with like zip ties and stuff, and this bolt was missing, and a bunch of fasteners on the plastic shrouding on here, which cools the engine. Bought a new filter, just a cheapie. Probably going to get a new clutch or variator. I forget what they call it on these, you know. It's same as a scooter setup. But my buddy's talking about upgrading that a little bit. We're talking about upgrading the entire engine, but I think if we get her running good, we'll be okay. Also cleaned up this swing arm, threw some paint on it, and replaced all these engine mounts so they're no longer held on with baling wire. Every one of these was broken. You can see. Actually, that one doesn't look like it's broken, but it is. I could probably take it apart with one hand. In the process, this little limiting strap here broke. This is supposed to have a piece of threaded rod on the end of it. So that broke. Boo-hoo. Got one of those on order. And some more bits and pieces are coming in. I think we have decided on a color for the body. I tried to talk him into just washing it up, but he wants to paint it. So we got some dark blue, midnight, or navy. I don't know what it is. So we're gonna have to pick away at all this bodywork, clean it up, and start painting it. Still waiting on a bushing. That one there. I was able to get it out. It was a pain in the ass. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to install. But once we get that, we'll plop that engine on here, get the engine installed, and at least we'll have a rolling chassis. Right now I just stuck it over the electric wheels here just so it kind of looks like something. We're not going to install the pool. Well, it's looking worse, better, hard to say. But we got some diamond plate. Parts are coming in. Got these seat posts painted and the seats are recovered. Diamond plate up here. Got this front cowl off to get painted. There's the seat box and the rear fender. So once those are done, they're just getting some clear coat on them. Once those are done, we'll basically be from here back looking pretty good. There's the front cowl, or the bonnet if you're from England, the hood. Gonna paint the inside of that black and outside of that blue. Do the same over here. Gonna paint this little inside tray area black, paint the outside blue. We'll probably paint that exposed plastic right there black. And I got diamond plate for the whole floor. That's the whole floor. And then here's those kick panels. And then this one is for right here. So she's gonna be pretty shiny, all said and done. Just stuck that seat box on there just to kind of hold our position. We're still waiting on a lot of parts. Still waiting on the bushing for this. That's been a little while. And a few other things, some parts for the gas tank. But slowly picking away at painting this stuff. It's all just a Krylon paint job. It's gonna look good from 5 feet away. You start getting close and it's not great, but I think it's gonna look okay. We're gonna leave the roof white. It's sitting like that because of that hood is off of there. But it's coming along, making progress. I really wish I had this bushing because I'd like to get this back in there and get the motor in there and get the wiring in so I could make sure everything works again. I don't know, there's no reason why it shouldn't, but just would like to see it. But she's coming along. Okay, another step in the right direction. Got the majority of the bodywork painted here. Got some diamond plate. This is all just sitting here. None of this is really installed yet. Just sitting on there. This just held on with one bolt. Still haven't put the one on the seat pillar, and awaiting some for back here. These rubber mats are just sitting on there. That diamond plate's just in there. I installed some new tail lights. I say new, but these are just some I had laying around in my stash of parts, and they're not wired up yet. And of course, we're still waiting on parts here. Installed that front bumper. Probably gonna paint up those A arms, just mask everything off and just give them a quick spray. Not gonna do too much prep work there, just kind of mask stuff off and cover them with some paint. I might actually brush paint that. And what else do we gotta do? Oh yeah, waiting on the wheel covers. And the top is just kind of sitting there. But I think we're sticking with the white roof, white steering wheel, because we got the white seats. I'm really not used to this. I usually shoot a video in one day, or two maybe, but it's been weeks. Golf cart parts are slow. I've installed the Yamaha badge, the lights on the front. Got this piece of aluminum trim installed. My buddy's supposed to be polishing these other ones up. I don't know if he is. Did get a back seat kit, but it's just sitting here. And we got a surprise steering wheel coming as well. So that's where we're at for now. Well, it's been a long time waiting, but we finally got some parts for this golf cart. Man, it has been sitting here. I'll have to look. It's been a couple of months. And I don't know why it's taken so long for parts. I've been getting parts for other items quickly, so maybe golf cart parts are difficult to come by. But anyway, we have got gas cap, fuel gauge, this vent piece here, so the fuel tank is ready to go. And also got this little engine damper piece. I don't know exactly what you call it, but when the engine revs up, it rocks like that a little bit, so that kind of prevents it from breaking the motor mounts. That broke when we were taking this apart to put new motor mounts on. And the most important thing that's kind of been holding this whole thing up, I mean, we could have really been done and riding it and then picking away at the cosmetics, but this bushing right here. Get the shadows on the other side. So this bushing has been holding us up from getting this swing arm installed after all the modifications we did to that frame. Get the swing arm installed, then get the engine installed, and move on and get this thing driving. But yeah, this has been the biggest holdup right here. The old one I had removed already. I just spent a little bit of time polishing up the inside of this bore where this goes with some emery cloth, and we're going to use a little bit of shop physics to get this installed. So my buddy had ordered 2 of these. I have one of them that's been in the freezer for 24 hours. So when you freeze metal, it contracts. Then I'm going to put the heat gun on this bore section here, and that should expand it. And then I'll set you here, and hopefully we can see how this is all going to work. I am going to, hopefully I'll be able to tap it in a little bit with a hammer because my vise isn't big enough. But then I'm going to put this socket, which is a little tiny bit smaller, or almost about the same size, I guess, is the diameter of this, with this bolt. And we're going to put that inside of this clamp. You see that? There we go. And press it in, and then once it gets almost to the end, then I'm going to have to put this on this side because you won't be able to press it all the way in. As you can see, it has that little section, so hopefully that, along with this piece of flat iron. Well, anyway, that's the idea. So I'll try to get this all set up. Maybe I'll do a time lapse because I think this is going to take a little minute or two. Well, hopefully you all saw that worked out better than anticipated. It just went right in there. So we're gonna let that cool down a little bit, and then I should probably wait for my buddy to get here, but I'm gonna try to slide that back under there. Let's see if we can't get those pivot bolts in and the shocks mounted, and then we will have a rolling chassis after several months. I don't know how well you can see this here, but we're in. I got one bolt, the one on the right hand passenger side kind of just stuck in there. The one on the left side I haven't put in yet. And to prevent this thing from ever seizing up in there again, we're going to use some of this anti-seize permastain. If you ever use this stuff, it makes you look like the Tin Man everywhere. But we'll put a little bit of that on the shank of the bolt here, install it. We'll tighten them down, and then last thing we got to do then is go back there and hook up the bottom of those shock absorbers, and we'll probably put anti-seize on those as well, and then we'll have a rolling chassis. I get working on stuff and I just kind of don't get videos of it all, but I do have all the mount bolts in for the suspension and swing arm, installed the cables for the transmission forward and reverse. I've installed the brakes, parking brake. I've installed the throttle cable, and on this one the throttle cable actually doesn't just go to the engine, it goes back here to this, and it's kind of like a governor deal, and that controls. So I guess you can hook the throttle cable directly up to the engine, but these engines aren't made to rev that high, so you have to be careful because you'll blow the engine up. So we'll leave it like that for now. I've also laid out the wiring harness. Had to drill a couple holes here because that wasn't on the electric model for that inner fender to mount. I think this is the backup buzzer here. And I had to drill a couple holes to mount the start solenoid, another piece that wasn't there. And some of this wiring still needs a little bit of repair, but I think I have the cables all routed where they need to be. And we'll pull these bolts out here and put this engine in. Now, my buddy helped me take this engine out. I don't remember everything on how it goes, but obviously those bolts I just took out look like they go in the back right there, 1 and 2, and then the front has a long bolt, which I'm hoping is that one there. There we go. And there's the drive belt, which we probably should replace, but that's going to go on there as well. So I don't think I'm going to be able to, well, maybe I'll do a time lapse again. There you go, time lapse it is. Things are moving along nicely now. Got the all the motor mounts in, or engine mount bolts, I guess. And the wiring is pretty much all hooked up. This is the last thing that plugs into the CDI, which is attached to the gas tank, which I have to put right here. And then hook up the throttle cable and route the choke cable, which actually this is the seat box from the electric one, but it did have a hole for that choke cable, so that's nice. It was under a sticker. So I can route the choke cable and hook up a few more things, the exhaust, and maybe we'll be ready to try to start this thing soon. The only thing remaining for that is there's 2 ignitions here, and I think the one for the electric, I think I'd like to use that one because it has a second pigtail out of it that I can probably run accessories off of. But as of right now, I don't have a key for it, so I have to see if my buddy has the key. But we're really making some pretty good progress here, getting close to maybe getting this thing ready to be mobile, you know, without pushing it. I stuck the battery in here, installed the fuel tank. Everything should be hooked up. Oh, there's the old start switch. Got that in there. So let's see what happens here. Let's see. Need some choke action, likely. We're running, and my buddy got some of the super classy stick-on chrome adhesive backed flexible automotive trim, so we're going to put that all the way around the front fenders and around the back fenders. I'll get these cleaned up, I'll install that, I'll get you a quick shot of that. Oh yeah, plastic chrome trim. Looking good. All right, we're getting close to wrapping this thing up. I think we're getting a new air filter. We're gonna get rid of this aftermarket air filter that's underneath the seat and get a stock one. Let me lift this up. That. Getting rid of that and getting the stock air filter. Supposedly it's gonna run a lot better with the stock one. That is letting in too much air. It's running really lean. So we'll see. Also got keys coming for the other ignition, and then I can wire in the headlights and taillights. Hello boys and girls. So usually when I shoot a video, I either do it in one day or maybe two on the outside 3 or 4, but this golf cart, I have been shooting this video, little bits and pieces here, for several months. I think it's 3 months I've been working on this thing because my good buddy orders parts as we go instead of like talking to me and you know, getting all the rundown of what we should get. So I don't think he ever watches my videos, but if he does, screw that guy. We got our key, and I wired in a USB outlet. And I also wired in headlights, and the taillights work also. You can't see them very good. And I also finally received our air filter assembly, and that is all installed. So I'm getting pretty close to wrapping up this video because otherwise it'll be another year will pass. I have some other accessories to install on here, but I'm going to just try to get the majority of the stuff installed, and we're going to wrap it up here shortly. Well, living through a heat wave here, 100-degree day, but what a beautiful view from where I'm sitting. PBR products. All right, we got all the flooring installed. I installed this with sheet metal screws with these little decorative washers around them. Lots of different ways I've seen people install these. I think the manufacturer said to put them on with pop rivets, but I like the fact that we can take these sheet metal screws out, because if you need to reroute a throttle cable or something, it's much easier to remove the floor. There's a centerpiece right here on the gas pedal and the brake pedal that comes out, so you can get to there. Otherwise you got to crawl underneath. Those are all installed. Beautiful lady resting steering wheel. Cheesy. This panel back here. I received the fuel door. Did not install it because this back seat, which is going to be an entire different video, I think that has to come off, so I'm not going to install it. So it's kind of a waste. And now for the creme de la creme for this entire project. Look at those beautiful hubcaps. They're kind of a knockoff of 70s. Oops. Gas can got me. 70s style Krager SS wheels. But that golf cart has definitely turned around, I would say. It's a pretty sharp looking rig right now. And it does runs pretty decent. I did a little carburetor work on it today. And key is on. Runs okay. The rear clutch sheave, as it's called, is making some noise, so that's going to be replaced also. But that's pretty much it for this video. This is all the visual transformation, so I think it looks good. Few things I might have done differently, but we're where we're at, and it's definitely nicer looking, and it's a lot of fun. I've been riding it up and down the driveway and down the street and saying hi to the neighbors. But all in all, I'm ready for it to get out of here, because this thing has been taking up space in my
driveway for several months. That's all right though. All right, if you're digging what I'm putting out, give me a thumbs up. If you would, please leave a comment down below. Let me know how I'm doing. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.